Welcome back to Too Tired. I am Christian. We're going to change this up just a little bit today. Why did you laugh?
Every time you do an introduction, you go,
I know.
welcome back to Too Tired.
Out just a little bit.
Okay, anyway, I'm going to keep all this. I'm Christian. Welcome back to Too Tired. We are joined by my twin brother, Colin, today, and he's going to help me co-host. Hello, Colin.
Hello.
Today, we're going to interview Libby. Libby owns two of her own businesses, Modern Gray, where she makes clay earrings, and the Gray Collective, where she shoots weddings, lifestyle photography, and boudoir. Hello, Libby.
Hello.
How many hours a day do you think you spend on your phone?
Oh, way too many. I think I got my weekly screen report thing. What is today? Even Tuesday? Oh,
Yes.
Okay, I got it on Sunday. And it was 6 hours a day.
Do you think the reason why you've been able to pivot from photography to anything else, specifically here it's clay earrings, is because of social media? Do you think that your strength is your marketing, or what do you think has allowed you to be successful in your second little offshoot that now you can run two full-time businesses and work from home?
I definitely don't think I'm a pro at marketing, but I feel like before I even started my clay business, I made sure I had a name, that it was a legit business. I had a logo, I had a website, I had social media and all that stuff ready to roll before I even shared anything.
That's marketing.
I know, but I didn't go to school for it or anything.
You don't have to go to school to be good at something, but I was thinking about that earlier today, and I was trying to come up with
having all that set definitely helped me a lot because I looked professional and a legit business and not just pulling this out of my ass.
I mean, I think you can make the argument that having a following already for your photo business, which obviously even just locally, you've had dozens upon dozens of clients and their families. And then of course you get to share that as your promotional material on social media. So that helps, but it's no different than starting this podcast where we all of a sudden had this immediate network of people, but we also had an audience. So do you think that's a bigger part, was building those connections to start? Or do you think that just having some good looking pictures online is what helped? Because I know social media, especially Instagram, helps pull a lot of your business. So
I mean, I don't think my photo following hurt by any means. I think it's a little bit of everything because there's people on my jewelry business who follow along and buy things or whatever that probably have no idea that I'm also a photographer. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both.
what is your bigger picture goals for your two businesses before we stop talking about work?
Yeah, I thought we weren't supposed to talk about creative things.
A little bit.
Anyway, for my earring business, I've kind of been on a pause, really long pause. Haven't really done anything since about June. I did a little pop-up in November and it was really successful, but I'm still going to take a little bit of a pause until after the new year and then hopefully get back in the swing of things with that. I don't necessarily have a goal with that. It's just fun and kind of like a therapeutic thing for me to do outside of photography. It is really time consuming, and having a 1.5-year-old around with little tiny pieces and all sorts of material isn't necessarily,
dogs.
and dogs in a tiny house and just working in our kitchen is not always ideal. So that's also kind of the reason I've taken a little bit of a step back. But for photo, this year, I did a shit ton of weddings, but that was also because COVID impacted it all and pushed things into this year. And
That was one of them.
yeah, all that good stuff. But I have been really, really, really trying hard to saying no to things, and setting boundaries and giving myself a monthly limit on how many things I'm going to take, whether that's doing families on weeknights, weddings on the weekends, boudoir. This year I'm only taking 12 weddings, and I've gotten so many awesome inquiries. Some of them I just automatically have to say no to because they shared dates with weddings that I've already booked. But I don't. This year I think I did 16 back to back to back to back every single weekend, and I am never doing that again.
And 22 overall or something.
Yeah. So not only is that just hard on me personally, mentally and physically, but it was hard on us as a family. and not really having time to spend with each other because Christian only has every other weekend off. But yeah, anyways, I'm only going to take 12 weddings this year. And then 2023, I'm actually going to take like 10. So just getting less and less because I really want to focus on boudoir. This year, I've kind of found like a passion for that and like makes me feel really good. If you aren't watching this on YouTube,
we just had the first pet of Too Tired featured.
Yeah, Colin's cat just jumped in the screen. But anyway, I really want to focus on boudoir a lot more and really pick up that side of my business. So,
can you tell people what boudoir is, except for a fancy sounding French word?
Well, it's not porn.
Boudoir.
A lot of people have this like misconception about what boudoir is or can be, but I guess, I mean, some photographers, it can be a little raunchy and a little
risque.
Yeah.
Also French.
Yeah. But for me, it's more like an empowerment thing for women. Right now, I'm only shooting women that are 18 years
so
or older.
Simplify it into like really basic terms. It is body positivity, feeling good about yourself, self-love, your own skin, but also maybe feeling sexy and showing that off, maybe for your significant other, but specifically for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I did it for you before we got married.
La 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 la.
Which is something that a lot of people do.
Yeah,
or like anniversary presents.
People do that.
You do.
You guys are children. Anyway,
you asked me to be here.
What was the question?
Simplify what boudoir is and why people want to do it.
Okay, yeah. Why people want to do it? I think there's a whole bunch of different reasons. I think if you have been struggling with your own body image and self-love, that's part of the reason I did it. And also as a gift for you, just because, just for a fun experience, to feel empowered because you're leaving an abusive relationship or ending your marriage or starting a new one, or I mean, there's all sorts of reasons to do it. I don't know. I just love it.
So what is your bigger picture goal for that? Like to open a studio specifically for that? Or
right now I'm using a studio in Fort Dodge and I love the space. But Christian and I have bigger plans and bigger goals. So, and one of those goals is for me to have my own studio. And I would love to have a studio that has multiple rooms in it instead of just like one big open space. That way I can have different setups and actually have an office.
Yeah. I have a great question.
Sure.
So you're pretty open and honest and transparent on social media about like your personal life and your business.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, or was it just kind of like who you are and kind of what are you doing that for? Let me finish my question before I forget it.
Okay.
Like, did you do that intentionally, or do you think that's just how you've amassed this following, is just being so genuine, like what you see is what you get, and if you're not for them, then they can move along? Like, do you think
I want this one first?
No, I need to say something. Christian and I talk about this and actually get in arguments about it a lot.
We just talked about this with Sarah.
I see. Okay, but working in marketing myself, I do definitely see both sides, but I'm also not your client. I'm not doing boudoir yet, but like, do you do that on purpose, or is that's just your personality?
I don't know if we talked about this on camera with Sarah or not, but we talked about this for a little while because it's a conversation that she and I have a lot, because I think it's perfectly fine to be yourself and to show where you stand, especially right now. There's so many polarizing things, whether it's politics, whether it's human rights and equality.
Your beef specifically is with me sharing political views.
I was concerned that it may affect her business, and I think it's done the opposite. I think it's helped her get, I will let her answer for herself for this, but I think it has let her get a wider range of people, and she's done a really good job to make sure that she's been inclusive for everyone. I mean, even to the point where with her earring business, she was donating money to causes, and she's extremely vocal about stuff, which, as you know as well, she's not a quiet person. She will say whatever's on her mind, maybe to a fault. And but I think I'm
not afraid of you.
All right, bring it.
I think she always comes across as compassionate, and she truly believes in like love for all, equality for all, and everyone else who's like stopping that needs to just like get lost.
Yeah,
And
I don't want their business. That's the whole point. Like, that's why I am vocal about things, because I don't want to work with those people. I mean, I know that doesn't sound inclusive saying I don't want to work with them, but
No, but honestly, like,
what
I
I
understand
mean?
exactly what you're saying. I guess I never thought of it that way before. Like, it's kind of your vetting process. Like,
Yes, in a
if they
way.
don't
But
like you,
like,
you don't need to like them. You don't have to work with them, and
right.
you don't want to work with them if they're shitty people
Like, back to what we're saying, I get to say yes and no to whoever I want to.
which is a luxury
for any
you now
reason.
get to
Yeah,
afford.
Yes,
true.
I didn't always get to do that. I mean, when you're
So
first
did you have any
starting,
experiences early on that made you change your mind? Like, I don't think you were super vocal or talked about politics or anything more so openly when you first began. Maybe you didn't do that
yeah,
consciously
yeah,
or not, but did you have any like bad experiences where you're like, all right, never again?
I mean, not necessarily. When I first started, I don't think it was like a conscious thing,
I think
like
it
you
was
said.
something that, as
But
we've talked about, it's developed to the point of like, okay, I'm no longer going to even entertain this thought
Yeah.
or
well,
someone
and
in this
as
crowd.
yeah, and as things are happening in the world too that are like giving me the opportunity to start speaking up, especially in the last couple of years, I definitely think that that's played a role in it. And just even in the creative industry, specifically like wedding industry, there's a lot of I know we said we weren't going to talk about this stuff on the
This
podcast,
This is
but
good
is much
though.
deeper
This
than
is
that though.
um,
yeah.
there's a lot of like back and forth, like what's the right thing to do for your business, what's not the right thing to do about whether or not to voice those kind of opinions, whether it's about COVID or LGBTQIA and like all that stuff. But to me, like even when I was starting the business, it was all super, super important to me. I don't think I always felt brave enough to express those opinions, but now I do. Now I don't give a shit. And I think that it's benefited me and my clients in like the best way possible.
I mean, at the same time, you could say you do give a shit, and then that's
Oh
why
yeah.
you're transparent. And I mean, because like if I was looking for a wedding photographer, I mean, ultimately, you want somebody who shares your similar
Yeah.
views and you're going to
Yeah.
get along because you have to work with that person to capture like one of the most special days. And if you just, I don't know, if you just off the bat don't agree on something and you know it, whether it's at a face value or deeper level,
Sure.
I think you'd want to know that, especially as you get in more and more high demand. I mean, if you
Yeah.
take a limited number, you're going to have to say no to a lot more people, but
Yeah.
a lot of those people might not be worth
Well,
your time.
it's not even necessarily like I'm not like that about everything, because obviously everybody can have their own opinions and vote for whoever they're going to vote for and all that stuff. But there's some things like just basic human rights that to me, you don't cross the line on. So,
Yeah.
um,
I'm sure it's cost her some followers. I'm sure
oh
it's
yeah, I know it
maybe
has.
cost her a little bit of business, but I think if you're just going to be a good person and say everything else that these bad people are doing is so shitty and everything, like I think you've made it a good point to stand up for what you believe is right, which I think the majority of people also believe is right. And I think it's gonna pay out more and get you more business than it is gonna make you lose business.
Well, and ultimately, you can't be for everyone. I mean,
Exactly.
like some people aren't going to like your style. Some people aren't going to like your Canon camera. I mean, it doesn't matter. They might just not like you. And
Yeah,
you, same time, you can do that to them. I mean, you're not
exactly.
profiling them,
And there
but
are photographers that are complete opposite of me. So if that's the type that you want, go for that too.
exactly.
So that's actually like a great
Way to put it.
way to put
It's a
it.
mutual relationship
Yeah, and that's a good
of hate.
this is a good example as to why we created this podcast to begin with, because you were potential clients, whatever, are getting to see this side of me a little bit more and more like a real like conversation. And I
But to
mean,
Colin's point, like the mutual relationship that we made with our wedding photographer is why they were our first guests. And I think that's another really important reason why we want to show the creative sides or the non-creative sides to people, kind of like you just said, is like we are all normal people who do creative things, and a lot of it is shown off on social media, but there's still a lot going on. And I'm excited to talk to some of our upcoming guests who have like little kids the same age as ours and who are starting new projects and all sorts of stuff like that too. So I think I think that's a great way to put this as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
your
I agree.
people.
Well, and
too.
yeah, and the fact that you explained it the way you did is differently than I thought. Where I'm like, oh, there's a political post by Libby on her photo page, but if you had a chance to explain it, which you don't really get such like a genuine
Yeah.
conversation,
Sometimes it's unless I'm like on a live video or a
right?
story
Exactly.
video, it's hard to interpret text or like a caption or something. So I get that. And I'm trying, like I want people to be aware of like my beliefs and my values and that I accept everybody and all that. But I'm trying to be better because sometimes I know I go overboard with like whether it's sharing, just like sharing somebody else's post or, whatever. When COVID was heavy last fall, one, I'm just paranoid about it to begin with, but sharing about that in the wedding industry,
It comes across as kind of harsh sometimes.
yeah, I got some feedback from people who weren't against me talking about it or sharing about it, just like the way I went about it. So every time it's a lesson, like learning lesson for sure. Yeah.
Well, and it could be, I think I mentioned something to you or Christian one time, like during COVID. And it was not even like an issue that I had, but it's like, well, what if you didn't mean for it to come off that way or be perceived that way, where it could hurt you just because you didn't phrase something
Yeah.
in a more general manner or something like that. So I appreciate that you appreciate the fact that not everybody's out to get you. Like people are
Oh yeah.
looking out for you
Yeah.
too, and
I
you
just
already have the good community around you who's just trying to help you out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be more intentional about those type of things that I share and one, make sure that they're like facts, and two, if it's something that I truly, truly believe in, then to have the information or my own like voice heard to back it up rather than just share, 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 share.
Yeah.
Well, now you have this. I mean, this is a great way to do that same thing and kind of explain and elaborate and I don't know, maybe think it out and
Yeah.
do it right.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we'll have to be kind of aware of as we grow like our socials for this and for the podcast as a whole. Like, we don't want to talk about politics. We don't want to talk about anything that's racist or homophobic or anything. Like, we want to be fully inclusive as well. And some people don't share those values, which is okay. But that's something that we can be a little bit more delicate on and not just share like a bunch of not random, but a lot of, stories on Instagram from other people. So again, if you're not in the creative industry and you're not thinking of that, or kind of like you said, it could be misinterpreted. Like, that post could cost you several $1,000s from one client if it's a wedding or something. So again, we've had
But
these.
sometimes it's
Sometimes
worth
worth it,
it.
right? And
Yeah.
we've had these conversations so many times because I've always been like, err on the side of caution. Don't piss people off if you don't have to. But like, I truly do understand like being a good person and standing up for that. And I know that it has gained her quite a bit of business. So,
not that that's the point, but
but be yourself and good things should happen. Hopefully.
sure.
Okay. Not talking about work anymore. Let's talk about what you do when you're not working, which I know is sit on the couch and watch TV and movies
Okay.
with your fantastic husband.
When I have the downtime, that is what I enjoy doing. Yes.
What is
Because usually I'm always go, go, go.
this question will apply to Libby. I call her Elizabeth sometimes. If I say Elizabeth, that's her real name.
I call her Lib Dog.
Yeah. So
I call him warm lettuce.
everyone comment Lib Dog.
Inside joke.
You're still in my phone as Warm Lettuce, and that was like
Oh,
6 years
I
ago.
love
What
it.
was that even from?
She just said she hated warm lettuce,
But we
and I'm
just
like,
gotten, like,
specifically
burritos or something.
warm, like not just
Yeah,
lettuce in
like on
general.
pizza, like on taco pizza or on
Like
burgers.
I think that's what it was or something. It
Soggy
was.
lettuce. No, I like it cold and crispy.
I just don't want. Save it for the rabbits. No,
Yeah,
I don't want it.
I'm going to ask Libby this question, and Colin, I'll let you answer too, because you're a guest here as well. Colin will have his own episode coming up as well. Colin does marketing and stuff for a large school in the Des Moines area. So he will have his own episode at a different time, but that'll come soon. What is
Cool.
one of the favorite TV shows that we've watched recently and one of the favorite movies, or what is something that didn't live up to the hype and you're just kind of like, that sucked?
Okay, well,
Not counting Fast and the Furious, because the 9th one is just awful.
Yeah. We just finished
Spoilers.
Sex Life of College Girls, right? That's what it's called on HBO. And
Mindy Kaling from The Office's new show.
that show is fantastic. We also just finished Pen 15.
Pen 15.
Pen 15.
Bean.
Well, I always want to say penis, but that's not what it is.
It
I
is.
mean, it is. But,
Well, it is, but it isn't.
we finished that, and I love that show.
Bean.
Okay. I just like really raunchy, like funny, good.
We're also watching Yellowstone.
Yeah, I
We're watching
love
Dexter New
Yellowstone.
Blood, which is fantastic, and I did not expect it to be good at
And
all.
The Bachelorette finales tonight, 3 hours.
And what else did we just watch?
I don't know. We watch a lot of shit, so
She means shit in a good way, not like, oh man, that
Yeah.
Trash.
show is
like
shit.
I said, that's what we enjoy doing when we get home from work and are exhausted. So
Yeah, I have a list of movies that I keep. So every time we watch a movie, I add it to the list.
Same.
And I'm nearing 1,300 movies. And so every time we watch a movie, I screenshot their IMDb page and then add it to
okay,
my
but this
spreadsheet.
isn't like a 2-year thing. This is like literally your entire life that you could think
Your
back,
entire life.
think back to, like you seeing the movie in theater when you were like 6 and with your grandma or something.
But I only included movies that I remember watching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So then I would have to go back and re-add them if I didn't remember watching them. So like I currently am starting Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Never
'Cause he's
watched
never
them.
seen them and he's crazy.
We watched the
What?
first like 30 minutes of the first movie like 20 times at a friend.
Yeah.
Never got past that. So
Is it Black Pearl? Is that the first one?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been watching a couple older like Disney movies that I never actually got around to watching. Otherwise,
A good movie
What else have
lately
we
though.
watched?
I don't even know.
I literally didn't even get through the Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah,
like
no, it was dumb.
it's pretty bad right away.
We have not been to a movie theater since
At least 2019.
since before COVID.
And now
I haven't
Spider-Man
been
is
to a
out.
movie. I was gonna say I haven't been to a movie theater since Friday.
Yeah, I want to go so bad, but obviously can't take a 1.5-year-old to a freaking movie. So
True. Well, I'll say that my favorite movie that I've seen was definitely Spider-Man, the new one.
no spoilers,
Home.
please.
Uncle
No
Ben dies.
spoilers.
Sorry. It's like every Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic through and through, start to finish. I'll probably go see it again, even hopefully next week. Like it was. I don't know if you can see my Spider-Man stuff. No, it's
We can
down
see a
here, I
lot of
guess.
stuff,
Yeah,
but
you got a
yeah.
lot of toys. We'll come back to that.
And then my favorite show that I've watched, I've been diving into the world of anime. And so I have a bunch of figures up here from my favorite one, which is called My Hero Academia. But you guys have been watching more grown-up stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess you could say that. I know.
And Seinfeld. I've been watching Seinfeld for the first time, and I honestly had zero interest in watching it, but then I watched comedians in cars getting coffee or whatever, and I loved it. And I love the B movie, which I don't see your script hanging up anywhere that I got you for your wedding gift. But
Do you like Jack?
I loved Seinfeld's stand-up, so I've started watching that show, and I think I'm on season 7 of 9, and it's fantastic.
Okay, but
It's
no, seriously,
so great.
you haven't seen the B movie. You have to
Yeah.
watch it.
One of the best,
Uh,
most underrated and overrated. I don't know, overhyped. But now it's like just an hour and a half long meme. But it
Yeah.
is so good.
We literally
Worth
had that
seeing
on the other day.
Netflix.
Was that
Yeah.
during the tornado?
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah, it
during the
was.
tornado, we had it on the iPad, so Elliot could watch it.
Elliot watches the B movie.
She
Yeah.
does.
It's funny because I remember the night mom came home with it as a rental or something, and I think she probably enjoyed it more than we did because it is chocked full of
Adult
Jerry
humor,
Seinfeld
yeah.
stand up. The whole thing is just a stand up bit, and it's great.
Yes.
What is
I'm
something?
gonna watch it now.
What's something that either of you have seen recently? I will give an example of something that was like super hyped up and supposed to be like the show of the summer or a big movie that just didn't really live up to its hype. For me, the show White Lotus, and this has been on my
Oh.
mind since we watched it. Everyone was talking about it, and it was not good.
I like
I don't know
it.
what that is.
It
It
was on-
had
it was
a
on
much
HBO.
deeper plot than
It really didn't
like.
though.
Yes, it did. It was about racism.
Yeah, but like barely. It didn't need
No,
8
it
episodes of that
fully
to.
was.
Nah.
Yeah,
just-
I mean, it was very anticlimactic. Like
Yeah,
you constantly thought something was going to happen at the end of every episode, and nothing ever did. And then it was a finale, and it was just like
it just
about
wasn't.
racism.
It just wasn't
so
good.
It was good.
Colin, you have
Not really. I don't watch a whole lot of new stuff, and if I do, it's like just me on my own. And then if I hate it, I stop. And then Becca will keep watching it if it's something else. But There's just been a couple of movies, maybe, but like I said, Spider-Man definitely lived up to the hype. Like everybody's saying it's the best Marvel movie they've ever seen, and I would agree with them. There was one movie called *Malignant* that was out on HBO and in theaters a couple months ago. That was supposed to be some great horror movie because that's all we ever watch is horror. And I thought it was the dumbest movie I've ever seen, but I guess that was just the hype, and Becca wanted to see it, so we watched it, and she loved it because I hated it. But it was don't recommend that one.
Let's go to the world of underrated, and let's go back to social media. So I love to ask people who they follow on social media or on YouTube, because every time we talk about how social media is so full of crap and there's just all this, like, all the memes and all the toxic culture and everything, but there's obviously a lot of great people to follow and a lot of great people who are either going to inspire you to try something new or inspire you to stay where you are in, like, on your path. And so I'm going to ask both of you this as well, but Libby, give us maybe a YouTuber or a couple people on Instagram or something that you think are must follows for anyone who's just interested in, like, great aesthetic or something to just feel inspired about being creative and not necessarily, like, I mean, if you want to talk about Mr. Beast, fine, but
I don't.
I love Mr. Beast.
I don't really watch
Shout out
YouTube.
Mr. Beast.
Except Coco Melon.
Okay, I watch YouTube, but only what you watch. So I don't really like have a favorite. I like watching David Dobrik's stupid, funny little
Just kind of random, feel
vlogs.
good.
I used to love Casey Neistat, but he stopped.
I'm like scrolling to see like who I follow that I like.
Yeah. Instagram, someone that I've really been like looking up to lately, and well, not lately. I've always looked up to her, Larkin Kendall. She's just super, super raw and real and just straightforward. She does mostly like couples and in-home stuff, but look her up. And I also really admire Grace T Photography, Grace Troutman, also for her just vulnerability and being herself. And
I swear she was in my classes in college.
probably. But I really just admire her courage and vulnerability to be open, just like we kind of talked about earlier.
What about a little shout out for somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of followers or a huge following that you either think is right on their way or doing a great job, or somebody who personally you know really well and you just want to give them a little shout out?
Ooh, I don't know her very well. We're actually going to be working together on New Year's Eve, but the Sage Collective, Lainey, her work, every time she posts, it just gets better and better and better. She does a lot of like branding, creative portraits, and she's trying really hard to dive into the wedding industry. And I think she's going to kill it once she gets there.
Colin, what about you? Let's go back to the beginning of this question, and maybe somebody on YouTube or somebody on Instagram who, if nothing else, is like, anytime you see they post a video, you have to click it, or anytime they have a post, like, you're going to swipe through it and read the comments and stuff.
Honestly, I don't watch hardly any YouTube at all, except for like Hot Ones episodes with people I like, except for Mark Rober. He's the only one, which he's got to be what, top 5 most popular YouTubers anyway, besides like Mr. Beast and MK.
HD.
Top 10.
He's got 20 million subs, but yeah, he's pretty popular.
He's just like so positive, and he's an engineer, but he's got like a social side to him, which is not very common in engineers, at least the ones I know and went to school with and worked for. But I don't know, he's just got this way, like he's going to change the world with engineering and YouTube videos, which is awesome. So I watch all of his videos, and only up until recently. I mean, I didn't used to watch them, but I went back one day and watched almost all of them from the beginning of his channel. As for Instagram, I started following a lot of like fine arts accounts. I really missed art history. So whether it's like just Renaissance paintings or it's somebody doing a quick sketch time lapse or something, I've been getting into a lot more of that stuff. Even today was the first time I used my Apple Pencil to actually like draw something just for fun versus taking notes on my iPad for my job. But so I kind of hope to get back into some of that creative stuff. Like I can draw. I don't really paint, but I could, just as a creative outlet. And so I'm following more of those accounts to kind of push me along and get me to do something besides come home and watch Seinfeld every day.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, but
That's a really good transition to my next question, which is for Libby. When you're in the photo industry and now you're in the jewelry industry, which I mean, we'll say 90% of your time, 95% of your time is photo business. The rest is like the earring stuff, which you kind of started for fun during COVID.
Yeah.
What other type of art? I know I've got you into design and stuff as I was in school for it, but like what other mediums are you interested in? Like I know you've little kind of dabbled a little bit in everything, but what type of art would you also like to make?
I have always wanted to try pottery. I think like on TikTok, my For You page is full of like pottery people and a bunch of other stuff. And
Macrame.
do you watch the pottery videos of like the ancient Japanese ways they make the teapots and stuff? Do you watch any of those?
no, I haven't.
They're the greatest, calmest, therapeutic videos I've ever seen in my life. I'll send you one. I sent that one to Christian and Brendan.
Yeah, it looks super, the whole thing just looks super therapeutic, even though I know it's probably really fucking hard. But I don't know, just that little spinning wheel thing and like, I don't know, just using
Wheel's
your hands.
hard.
I don't know.
How much TikTok do you think you watch a day?
Too much.
I don't
Right
even
now,
watch that
my
much.
feed is getting full of COVID shit again, and I don't want that. So I'm like
The,
trying to search other things because
the best part about TikTok is when you have people that send you TikToks. So then when you log in, you have 12 to watch, and it's like a professionally curated For You
Oh.
page because Brady, our best friend, is sending me TikToks that he thinks I would like versus some stupid algorithm like, oh, you'd probably like this dog eating cotton balls. It's
yeah,
like, well,
I
maybe,
do. I
but
do appreciate TikTok's algorithm, but right now my feed is full of like trying to conceive stuff, COVID,
It
and
feels
pottery, and it's just like a
sometimes
weird mix.
yeah, don't mix those things. Sometimes it feels like it overcorrects, just like Pinterest or anything else. Like you save one picture about dogs, and all of a sudden your whole feed
Yeah,
is automatically dogs. And I feel like
which I
TikTok's like
wouldn't
that
be
some
mad
way.
about.
Well, no, I mean there's much worse things like I guess
Cats.
pottery. Yeah, cats.
whoa.
We kind of talked about this in one of our last episodes, but I know that Libby is a person who reads comments on things, not only our own things, whether it's pictures of our child, it's your own work, whatever, but what is it about the comment section that you can't get away from?
I love conflict. I always have, which is really weird because most people do everything in their power to avoid it. I love it. I feel like I thrive in it, which is really
But
weird.
most of the time it's not even your conflict.
Oh, I know, but like I don't engage in those things. I just like to read them because they make me feel better about my own life.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
I don't
but
know. I can't explain it. I just enjoy drama. I enjoy conflict.
See,
Not necessarily being involved in it. I just like even with TV shows, like all trashy reality TV. I love it.
Colin, are you on that side or are you on the side of where I am, which is I don't want to read the comments if it's something negative, especially Facebook.
You always
TikTok-
yell at me. Stop
TikTok,
reading the
I
comments.
will read the comments because to me, TikTok's all funny and
No,
like
it isn't. TikTok is savage and horrible.
I don't think it's horrible, but
It depends on what the video is. I mean,
All right. Well, you know what my feed's full of, so it's horrible.
I think
Except the pottery.
I don't know. I think I would say younger me, like even a couple of years ago, would say 100% read them. But I feel like the older I get, the more I'm just trying to be like a calm person, and like there's no reason to read them unless you're expecting like hearts and like, oh, I love this, and like it just depends. Like if it was on my own post, I'd probably read them. But also I have 100 followers on Instagram. So it's not like they're going to be shit talking me on my own post. But if it was like I posted a video that went viral of me, I don't want to read comments of people saying like, look at that hairline and what a poor beard. Like I don't want to do that. I would have to avoid it. So I guess I can't answer it the same as Libby when you have thousands of Instagram followers.
I don't even pay attention to that. You're talking about the political stuff, which I know we're
anything.
not getting into, but those are the comments I just
live for.
Do I read comments on other posts?
then,
Is that
then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can like weed out the people I don't want to be around.
I don't read
Like-
I don't read any comments on anybody
I
else's
do.
posts. I thought you meant like would I read them if it was on mine?
I think you're lying if you say that if you had something go viral that you wouldn't read the comments.
No, I would, but what I just asked was are we talking about me reading comments on Libby's posts or
Like any post
Any
in
post.
general?
So like, for example, Facebook, if you follow, let's say ESPN.
the fact that I don't have Facebook kind of answers this question for me.
Okay, it's hypothetical to you then.
I mean, but it applies to TikTok or Twitter or anything else, like when you can read a thread of things. But like Facebook shows, say it's ESPN, the first comment will always be like, LeBron's better than Jordan, but like you can't hide that. So the top comment always shows. And there are some things that like it just drives me nuts. I don't like it. I don't want to read it. To me, I agree that I'm trying to like weed out the things that are toxic and like
just think, like I got involved in reading some of those comments, and now those people are completely off my Facebook because I just blocked them. Bye-bye.
right, but that's local. I'm not even talking about that. Like I'm
Not
talking
necessarily.
I'm talking about just the negativity in general because people seem to be awful in the comments no matter what.
I mean, I don't think I read like back and forth threads on Twitter posts or anything.
Yeah,
I don't do that at all.
yeah,
But I mean, if it's the first comment that's highlighted by Instagram, yeah, I guess I read it. If it's a post and I'm like, oh, what's this person say? But no, I don't read comments at all on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter.
Yeah.
Sometimes TikTok if it's funny. Sometimes that like top comments like a real good zinger. But no, I don't.
If it's irrelevant to me, I don't even like waste my time on it. But if it's something that I care about, I'll read
And fight.
which is when I get into trouble. I don't fight with people. I voice my strong opinion or facts.
I just tell them why they're wrong.
No. If I care about it, if I'm involved in it, then it's a different story. But like a random TikTok, no, I don't have the time of day for that.
I mean, okay,
Makes sense now?
sure.
Okay.
If I told you we could move tomorrow and you could pick where we were going, where would we go?
Northern Minnesota.
That's where you would go if we could go anywhere?
Oh, like United States or
Minnesota only.
well, you haven't left. You have
and
not
Canada.
left the Midwest, so I was like, staying. In the
I'm
vicinity.
asking you. What if you could pick where we were going?
Like outside the United States or in?
I don't know. I haven't been either.
Okay, well,
I've been in the-
You've never been in the United States?
give me some parameters here.
There aren't any.
Okay,
US.
in the
United States. Yeah.
I mean, still probably northern Minnesota. One, because I love winter, and two, I still want to be semi-close to my family.
Northern
Sorry, I
Minnesota
wasn't
is a
yawning
good
because-
9
I mean,
hours. though.
I would love to just up and leave and go to like Maine or something that's like awesome in the fall and like, but I don't think I could be that far away from my family. I'm kind of a homebody. If we were going out of the country, New Zealand.
Jeez. Let's go northern Minnesota, which is like 7 hours away, or let's go halfway around the
tomorrow.
world on an island. We're going to the Shire.
Yeah.
Do you have any weirdly irrational fears? What are you afraid of?
I feel like we've talked about this on all 2 other episodes.
We haven't answered it though. I mean, I talked about my
mean,
appendix bursting being my fear,
Yeah.
but I have a lot of stupid fears.
I have a lot of like medical fears. Like I have horrible medical anxiety, which is part of the reason I am so paranoid about COVID. I hate snakes like with a passion.
It's not irrational.
The thought of them. I hate pickles and pickle juice, and I hate bananas.
Warm lettuce.
Yeah. I mean, those aren't really fears. I guess the pickle juice is because I don't even want it to touch anything else, but I don't know. Car accidents. I always when I'm not the driver, when I'm a passenger, my biggest fear is getting in a car accident. Like I have no control.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean,
Do you have any weird talents?
Do you have any talent?
all right, dude. Odd talent.
I mean, what are your talents? What are the things that people might not know you do?
I mean, I can make weird noises with my mouth that really annoy you. My little
Yeah, don't do it. I'll crop it.
No.
No, it's like a really bad impression of like a turtle mating or
Well,
something.
the whole point was you have to guess what I'm saying when I'm doing it.
Just don't. I'll cut it out.
People
It's-
don't understand what's happening if they're
If
not.
you'll cut it out, then let her do it. I'm intrigued.
Die.
Like why?
What am I saying, Colin?
Die.
Nope.
It's like girl or something.
Yes.
Yeah. See, it just I don't know why she does it. It's like
Elliot loves it. So
That was crazy though.
isn't it
What do you mean
cool?
it's crazy? It's like she's
I can
calling.
do this with my finger.
It's like a duck
I can do
call.
that too.
I used to be able to do it with all of them, but now
If
they like
you're
lock up.
listening, we're all double jointed.
Yes, I can crack my own neck and my own back in like really weird ways.
Those aren't talents.
Yeah,
This is turn this into a freak show.
All right.
This is medical.
Well, I guess I don't really have any other talents besides my job.
You can sing.
Okay, yeah, I can sing.
Yeah, I guess you don't have any talents. Colin, do you have any weird talents?
No, not really. I don't think so. Oh, I'm really good. If people throw like M&Ms, I catch them every time.
Well,
Right.
you two
Just-
both sing.
Yeah, we can sing.
Meh.
Should we do a quick 3-part harmony? No, I'm kidding.
No.
That'd be really
We
fun, though.
I was just at a where was I? Oh, I was at the neighbors for Friendsgiving, and somebody had like Teddy Grahams, and they threw it at me, and I caught it, and they're like, "What?"
We used to do that in our
And I'm
friend's
like,
basement.
"Do another one," and they threw it, and I caught it, and they're like, "What the heck?"
Like
I'm like,
magnetic to your mouth or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty good at it, but that's probably my only weird talent. I don't go around like using that as icebreakers or anything, but I might start.
Hey, do you got anything you can throw in my mouth?
I'll catch it.
that was weird.
Libby, give us a couple things that people may not know about you. I can give one really, really good one, and that's that you went on 2 mission trips to Guatemala?
Nope, more than that.
3?
Or the fact that I hung out with her before you ever did
I mean,
Yeah, let's talk about that.
we
okay?
mutually hung out, and
through text messages.
this
And
was a
I
bit
actually went
shy.
to her house.
No, we would all be sitting in the same room, and Christian wouldn't talk to me in person, but he would text me
That's where I said I
from
was
across
shy.
the room.
Yeah, look how
You're
that
not
turned out.
Shy.
Yeah, I know. I was in the friend zone for 10 freaking years. Not 10, 4. We've been together 10 years.
Jeez.
But yeah, I was like BFFs with Colin.
We've only been together for 8 years.
Whatever. I can't do math.
Only 8 years.
Libby, since you work for yourself, how do you find inspiration and motivation to keep doing it?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't feel inspired a lot. And I actually am 5,000% burnout right now. So this year was absolutely insane. I feel like I was never home. We had no quality time. We had no date nights. We had no trips, no nothing. No time to work on house projects. It was just go to a wedding, come home, back up, go to bed, wake up, go shoot the next day all day, back up, edit. It just felt never ending. So this year kind of sucked in that regard, but I feel like boudoir, and I know we already kind of touched on this, which one is a really hard word to pronounce. But 2, I feel like that has kind of ignited this little spark in me, and this new passion, and I am literally in love with it and making other women feel good. And that honestly, that's what kept me going. And I look forward to those sessions every single time I have one. And not that I don't look forward to weddings or a family session or whatever, but those just seem routine to me at this point. And boudoir is new to me, newer, I guess. So that kind of helps.
I mean, that's no different than most professions, though. I mean, it's kind of just your new shiny object. It's no different than this podcast or my podcast when I did it, or even just the crap behind me, the action figures. I think we all get kind of stuck in the same routine, and that doesn't mean that necessarily suffers at all. But we all need kind of that little shiny object that's how can I do this?
I'm kind of fearful. I don't want boudoir to turn into a routine either, just because I do enjoy it so much and love it so much. So I'm trying to find a balance between the weddings, the families, and the boudoir. Last year I did everything. I did seniors, I did newborns, I did extended families, I did maternity, and I did weddings and engagements. At literally anything you can think of, I did. And this year I'm niching. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Niching down.
You found your niche.
Yeah, niching down.
I don't know if niching is a word.
I don't think it's a verb, but
I don't know, but you know what I mean. I'm honing in on There we go.
Yeah. We got
That
there.
sounds better. Honing in on like what it is exactly that I want to do and like limiting how much I'm taking. That way I do still have the energy and the commitment and the like just passion to serve all of those people and like give them the best experience. So 10 weddings. I mean, I'll do a couple families a week, probably, especially like summer and fall are always just insane. And then boudoir, I'm hoping to do at least right now 5 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when I don't have my own space, it is. So to like rent a space every single time.
I think a lot of that comes back down to the type of connections you want to make with your clients. I think boudoir is so small and intimate that
Yeah.
it's one-on-one, and you have to really own those
And
moments.
it can be, unless they're doing like I call them quickies for mini sessions for boudoir. But
Marketing.
yeah, unless it's a quickie like boudoir, I can like, it's like slow pace and like enjoying the experience. Whereas like a mini session for a family, we're just like boom, 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 get the pictures. The kids are like crazy,
But I think,
which I love. Like I feel like I really thrive in like chaotic sessions with crazy kids. Parents are always like,
she loves the drama.
no, not what I mean. But parents are always like, we're not going to get anything. And then they get their gallery and like, damn, actually we did.
I think you like meeting and connecting to your clients for weddings as well. I think you just hate having to go to the wedding and shoot the full party and everything. Like
Well,
that's not as intimate
that's
as
not the
getting to hang out
issue.
with them at their engagement
The
session. and
issue
stuff.
is that I'm actually very introverted and don't like to be social. And weddings really force me to step outside of that comfort zone. Really, all sessions do. I talked about this in a post on my boudoir page the other day that part of like all my sessions and stuff, people would never know that I'm actually an introvert, and you probably wouldn't based on this podcast either, just because I never shut the hell up. But part of that for me is like
No comment.
part of that for me is like it helps me with my like being comfortable and not like overthinking things and getting into my head. But I also feel like it helps the clients as well to like not have any awkward silence or like be overthinking their pose or whatever the heck it is I'm asking them to do. Like it's just we're all stepping outside of our comfort zone, I feel like.
Well, and that ties back perfectly to what we talked about with you having kind of like the vetting process of you being open and comfortable and more extroverted on your social media. And so by the time you're to their wedding day, you're more comfortable with them just because they're comfortable with you as you've presented yourself on social media.
Yeah.
All right. To wrap up, we're going to do a quick fire question session where I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of things and you quickly give an answer.
I'll try.
Good luck.
Favorite color?
Yellow.
Favorite movie?
Faster.
Faster.
It used to be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now I
Ooh,
don't know
dark.
if I have a favorite one.
All right, fair enough. Book. Favorite book.
Can't tell you the last time I read one.
Favorite food.
Chinese, Mexican.
If you could have any food or drink in front of you right now, regardless of circumstances, what would it be and why?
Who Hot. I love Who Hot. That's all I got.
Fair enough. What song is stuck in your head these days?
Anything Coco Melon.
Oh God. What did you want to be when you grew up, like when you were a kid? What was your dream job?
I always said I was going to move to California and be a photographer. I knocked out one of those, so we're doing pretty well.
We're not moving to California.
No.
So what's your dream job now?
I actually feel like I'm living it, so not too shabby.
I wish I could say that so bad.
If you were a teacher, what subject would you teach?
Probably English.
All right. And the last two questions are perfect for this time of year. Best Christmas gift you ever got and worst Christmas gift you ever got.
Best Christmas.
Start with the worst. Start with the worst.
The worst? No, I got to think about that one. The best Christmas gift I ever got, and this relates because I got my very first DSLR as a Christmas gift from my parents. That was 13 years ago, I believe. How old am I? 26. Yeah, so that makes sense. When I was 13, I got my first DSLR. And worst Christmas gift?
God, I have something in my eye.
Probably
Anyone who's watching
some,
is
like,
probably, what is he doing?
Freaking Bath
He's
and Body
emotional.
lotion or something. I hate that stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm weird. I know.
All right. We want to thank everyone for their support over these last couple episodes. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching. If you're listening, make sure you subscribe and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Leave us a review. You can now do reviews on Spotify. So make sure you're giving us 5 stars on both Apple and Spotify.
Yeah, you don't actually have to like type a review, just like
Yep.
5 stars.
Yep. Follow us on all social medias. We have some really fun stuff planned if we ever get around to it for TikTok, and we'll have some stuff on Instagram, and maybe we'll eventually post some extra stuff to YouTube, just kind of for fun and kind of maybe a little behind the scenes or something. Our next guest is Marianne Pacha.
Mhm.
She will be our next episode, probably right after Christmas and before the new year. If you have any ideas or any feedback for us, shoot us an email at wearetootired@gmail.com or send us a message on any social medias. Colin, thank you so much for coming on. We will be talking to you very soon and you will have your own episode. Libby, thank you for not being my host this time and for letting us
Being
ask
the
you questions.
best guest you will ever have. You got it.
Thank you for being too tired.
All right.
Cheesy.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.